Hi there, you're listening to the Bigfoot Society podcast, and I'm Jeremiah Byron. Every week I talk to individuals who have experienced Sasquatch in some way or another, so you won't want to miss an episode. Make sure you're subscribed on the platform that you're listening to, and share this episode with a friend. It does not cost a thing, and it helps the show continue to grow. If you'd like to hear Bigfoot Society episodes early and ad-free, you can do so by becoming a Patreon supporter or a YouTube channel member. Links to those are in the show notes. In Bigfoot Society, I've taken far too much of your time so far, so let's get on with the show.
Hey, Jeremiah, Swampdogg. Today, my wife and I, we were at Wawa, that convenience store, having lunch in our pickup truck. And an elderly couple, well, I guess they were in the mid-70s, I think. I don't know. I didn't get their age. But they stopped in front of my truck, and on my windshield, I got that to me, my name on there. It says, Swampdogg on it. So, anyway, they stopped, and immediately saw it. And the guy pulled up on my truck, and he says, are you the Swampdogg that was on the podcast of Bigfoot Society? And I looked at him, I looked at my wife, I said, yeah, why? He says, that was a good podcast. Well, anyway, him and his wife just stepped out of the truck, and we got out. We just got done on lunch anyway, and I was having my coffee, even though it's 99 degrees here. But anyway, they were telling us about their encounter. I asked him if I could record it, and he didn't want me to record it and everything, but it was okay for me to write it down. He gave me his first name and his wife's first name, but he said if I called you and told you about the story, he didn't want me to give you his real name, so, but I can understand that. But yeah, they were elder couple. I think they were in their 70s, but, it was, an encounter at this park. All right, brother. Have a good night.
This is wild. I gotta call Swampdogg up.
Hello.
Swampdogg.
Hey, brother. How you doing today?
How are you doing, man? Dude, I got your message. That's wild.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I mean, we were, on Monday, me and my wife, we decided to go to Wawa for lunch, and we ordered a couple of hoagies and a soda and stuff like that, and we went back to the truck and eat, and as we're eating our lunch, this older couple, they rolled by, and when they saw Swampdogg on the top of my windshield, they stopped. And the guy goes, "You're not the guy that was on the podcast. You're not that Swampdogg, are you?" I looked at my wife. My wife looked at me. I told him, yeah. So
I was so surprised.
So I guess they parked alongside of me, and they were telling me how good the podcast was and all that stuff, and that's when they was telling us about what happened to them back in 1972. So, and right now I'm at the park where they had their encounter.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a park called Westside Park. It's got like a little river to it. It's surrounded by woods all the way around. Actually, earlier today, my wife took pictures, and if you want her to email you them pictures, it looks like Bobo says, it looks real squatchy back here. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah, yeah.
How
So it's
close
more.
is that to where you had stuff happen?
All right. Where am I? About 7, 10 minutes. About 7, 10 minutes.
Wow.
I'm not too far away from where I had my first encounter, and then when I heard the screams, and then when I seen it on my bike, I'm not too far away. I'm about less than 10 minutes away.
Man. You know, Swampdogg, before we get into that, people have really been digging your episode, and you probably heard I had a follow-up one from a gentleman named Dominic who also
Yeah.
experienced some screams in a similar area, but down there in South Jersey.
Yeah, he's about 25 miles away from me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, from what I think I heard, he wasn't too far away from the Pine Barrens. So I don't know how close he was to Wharton State Forest or what. You know what I mean? I don't know. But he, the way he sounded, I guess he wasn't too far away from the Pine Barrens. But when I heard that show, I was like, finally somebody said something. And you know what I mean? Like, you know.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't know if have you been reading the comments as well?
I've been reading the comments
Okay.
on on the podcast that I was on, and then I was reading the comments on his podcast.
There's one I want to call out. It's a gentleman. It's really interesting. I don't think that I'll be able to get him to come on, but the gentleman that had a encounter in the late 1970s along the Maurice River in Cumberland County. That's a really interesting comment.
As a matter of fact, this stream that I'm on here right now, that connects to the Maurice River.
Wow.
At this park right now, yeah. So, I mean, you know, they do a lot of fishing here. They do a lot of kayaking, mostly kayaking, but I mean, I've seen people fishing here. I fished here a few times myself too. You know, I didn't think anybody was gonna like say anything about this area, but you know what? I'm glad I got on your podcast because now people start coming out, and you mean they're saying stuff. You know,
I've never had an area where people have come out of the woodwork like they are about this. I had another gentleman contact me who is it sounds like he's a pretty serious Bigfoot researcher. And he's like, I've had weird stuff happen in the Pine Barrens, Bigfoot stuff, other stuff. I'd love to share it with you. So we're working on that as well. But I mean, it's just taken a whole different life of its own with this South New Jersey thing. But Swampdogg, do you mind sharing what this older couple shared with you?
Okay. I gave them my word that I wouldn't mention their names or anything because they still live in Byron.
Absolutely.
And you know what I mean? I asked for permission if I can let me get a hold of you and then let me tell you about this, about this encounter. They said, yeah, they just don't want me to mention their names. The gentleman, he's a retired firefighter, and his wife is a retired, she's a school teacher. And I guess they lived here all their lives. He's into hunting and he's into fishing. I mean, they do a lot of outdoor stuff. And well, what happened was back in 1972, they were in this park, and it's called West Side Park. It's here in Vineland, New Jersey, off of Almond Road. And they were fishing, they had them doing folding chairs, and they had the coolers with snacks and their drinks, and they were doing some fishing. And they were here about an hour, right? That's what they said, about an hour?
An hour, yeah.
Yeah. And what happened was they heard some rustling. I guess it was by their pickup truck. No, we got somebody here blowing the horn. But anyway, they're hearing noises around their pickup truck. So he got up from his chair and he shined the flashlight, but doing towards the pickup truck. Because back here it's kind of dark. There's only one light pole. And he didn't hear nothing, so he figured it was like a deer or something. So he went back to fishing. And he said about 10 minutes later, he heard some more rustling, but it sounded louder. So he didn't know whether it was a deer or it was somebody out in the woods, like a hobo or something. I don't know. So he kind of walked halfway to his truck, and he was shining the flashlight around, all that stuff, and he didn't see nothing. He couldn't see anything. So he went back to his chair, he went back fishing, he said he opened up a can of soda, and all that stuff, and then it was about a half hour later, they heard something, he said it was like something that smacked a tree. But he really wasn't sure. But he said something smacked the tree. And that's when both him and his wife got up, and they were walking towards the pickup truck. And, they only had one flashlight. Oh, and they also had a lantern, but they left it when they were fishing. So, they just had the flashlight when they were walking towards back to pickup. So, as they were walking towards back to pickup truck, what he said was he heard a whole lot of, it was like rustling, like something was moving back there by his pickup truck. So they kept walking towards the pickup truck, and as what they said, when they got to their pickup truck, that's when they heard the tree snap.
Yeah.
It was like a branch broke, he said, and it was a real loud sound. And then they stopped, and she was about to get ready to jump in the truck, but she stayed with him because he had the flashlight. So they stood there for a few minutes. They didn't hear nothing, and he told her, "Come on, let's go pack up. I want to get out of here." So as they were walking back to their fishing poles and their chairs and their coolers and stuff, the rustling and the sounds would get
louder.
Yeah, it got louder and louder and louder, and they were just hurrying up. And actually, he was upset with himself where he parked the pickup truck, because he should have parked it more towards the middle of the parking lot. But where he parked it was around the edge of the parking lot and up against the woods. You know what I'm saying? So actually, I'm looking at the spot where he said he parked his pickup truck, and it's all woods back there. So what happened was, when they were walking back to the truck, they didn't put the stuff in the back of the truck. They threw everything in the back of the truck. They jumped in the truck. Well, she jumped in on the driver's side, and then he jumped in, and I guess the windows were open, he said, right? The windows were open up on the door, and as he started the truck up, just before he went to turn the headlights on, they heard a big smack on the back of the bed on the passenger side rear. And when they heard that, they hurried up and backed up. And then they said from the little bit of light that they could use off the headlights, they saw a silhouette, and it was about 7.5 feet tall, they said, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
7 foot tall.
Yeah, about 7.5 feet tall, and they took off. Now, they said they only lived 20 minutes away from this park. So when they got home, they went in the back of the truck and they went to see if there was any damage or nothing, because they said it was a big bang. So when they looked at it, there was a dent on the side of the pickup truck, on the passenger side, almost towards, almost near the tail lights on the back of the pickup. They said it was a dent the size of a basketball. That big around. So what happened was, he had a friend that worked for the Bottle police station. So he called him up, and him and his wife went over to their house, and they wanted to see the truck, and they were telling him what had happened. And then he was telling them that there was a few police officers in the city of Ireland that knew about this creature. And I believe he said that two of them that seen him, right? Yeah. He said 2 of the Bottle police officers, including the guy that came over his house, that was another police officer, all 3 of them, they have seen this creature here in Violin. And they knew about it, but they never talked about it. Or, they never told anybody about it. I guess because, I don't know, maybe they didn't want people to think they were crazy or something. But, yeah. So, see, that was a firefighter, a school teacher, and they also told us that, 3 of the Bottle police officers, knew about that at that time, back in 1972. So, I guess, people know about these things, like the police here, but nobody have ever said anything or mentioned it, or they never made a report. So that's to show you, how things work. You know what I mean?
It's incredible, Swampdogg. Just to think that, years and years before you had your sighting, even the police in that area had been dealing with this, perhaps the same creature, we don't know, but in the early, maybe late 60s, early 70s, the police knew.
Right.
And man, if who knows, maybe these retired individuals are listening to this, you never know. You are welcome to contact. You're welcome to contact me if you want to tell me about it. BigfootSociety@gmail.com. But this is wild.
Yeah, they don't have to give you their names or nothing. Just if this is one of the police officers that are listening to this podcast, I hope they do get a hold of you. Like I said, they don't have to give names or nothing. You know what I mean? Just, I like to know what they know. You know what I mean? Because he told me that, as far as he knew, that there were 3 police officers in Violin that knows about this creature.
That's wild.
So, yeah, that's, and, right now I'm in this park where people are leaving because they were kayaking. I guess they were loading up their pickup trucks and they're leaving right now, but it's pretty dark in here. Like I said, there's only one light pole. And from where I'm parked, I can't see the Little River. It's just dark. It's like what do you call that water? There's cedar water.
Cedar water.
Yeah, so you mean it's dark, so you can't see it. You know what I mean? But there is a trail through here, and yesterday we drove a truck in this trail, and it comes to a Y. It's not a long trail. I think one's about a mile long, and then the other one's about, I'd say about a half a mile. But we went back there like in our truck, and I mean we're just riding slow and stuff, and just looking around to see if I see anything like tree structures or anything like that. But we didn't see that. But I mean, I stayed in the truck. You know what I mean? Because I forgot my spray. I mean my tick spray, and I didn't want to get out of the truck and get ticks on me. So.
Yeah, smart idea.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, that just blew my mind. I mean, they just came out and said, "Well, I'm gonna tell you guys what happened to us." You know what I mean?
Blew my mind too.
My wife was like, she was like dumbfounded. She was like, so. As they're telling us the story, I'm looking at my wife and I'm thinking, I told you. I mean, just I'm saying myself, I told you. There's stuff out here, you know what I mean? But she's starting to come around, you know what I mean?
I hear you. But, I mean, I guess maybe a few people listen to this after all. Who knows, Swampdogg, but.
Yeah, but I was thinking, I don't know, you know what I mean? So, there's only, I just got all these people and like they stopped in front of my truck and says, "Are you the Swampdogg that was in the podcast?" I said, "Yeah," you know what I mean? And at first I was kind of like scared to say yeah, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know what they were going to say.
Well, you have the name on your trucks.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but
yeah.
But I was kind of scared of saying yeah, that was me. You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? Because you never know what people are going to say, or you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
But but my wife was like, she's like, looks like you're famous now. I was like, I don't think so, but that was one couple of you. You never know who else was listening here.
You honestly never know.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know who's listening to the podcast and that. But I was just, I heard that and I'm like, I was kind of not excited. But I was like, in my mind, I'm thinking to myself now, ever since we did this podcast that day, now people may be coming out. You know what I mean? I just wish they get a hold of you. You know what I mean? Like that one guy you were talking about the Morris River.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
I would love to hear what he had to say. Yeah. I even messaged him on that thing there. The one that you wrote to get a hold of you. I said something about, please get a hold of Jeremiah, or something like that I wrote, but
Swampdogg
came back to you, I guess. I was hoping he did.
Why is it important that people just contact me via email and start the conversation? Why is that important?
Because it's like I said the other day. You remember when I said about knowledge?
Absolutely.
Knowledge is everything.
Mm-hmm.
If, like, I told you where I had my encounters, right? And then the other gentleman, you're Dominic, he told you where he had his encounter. Now, if this guy would tell you his encounter and where it happened, if we're going to start to study this thing, we should know where these encounters happen so we could like go there and maybe research, or not me, just other people too. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
absolutely.
Knowledge is everything. Knowledge is everything. You know what I mean? It's like,
if anybody disappears.
Yeah, and then like, you know what I mean? I'm going to tell you something too. My wife can tell you more about this because I was in North Carolina when it happened. But it was about 2 years ago, or
two and a half.
There was a little girl disappeared, and she was in the city of Bridgeton, New Jersey. It's about 15, 20 minutes from here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big park, all wooded area. I fished there. I had hunted there. Well, at the time, I had a job in North Carolina, and I was working as a diesel mechanic. But anyway, this little girl went missing. No trace. They didn't know what happened. But she was playing in the park on the swings or something.
Yeah.
With her little brother, and her mother was in the car. And I guess she was doing texting on the phone and stuff, and she wasn't paying attention. And she looked up, and the little girl was missing. I mean, they had everybody was looking for this little girl for, like a week or two? I don't know what her girl's name.
Her name was Dulce Maria.
Yeah. Her name is Dulce Maria. And they still haven't found this little girl.
Found her.
I mean, I'm not saying that she was kidnapped by a Bigfoot, but you never know. You know what I'm trying to say? All these 411 stories you hear about people go missing, like in parks and stuff, and kids going missing, and they're never found, and then they found their stuff a year or two later, 8 miles up the road. You know what I mean? So my feelings is, if you know something, you should say something. Because you never know. It might help a case. It might help somebody doing research. And how are we supposed to learn more about these creatures if everybody keeps their mouth shut?
I like that, Swampdogg. If you know something, say something. Absolutely. There's more to stake here than we may realize.
Yes, I mean, you never know. I mean, I'm not saying, like I'm saying, you know what I mean, I don't know what happened to this little girl because I was in North Carolina, but you never know. I mean, this is another 411 as a missing person. And how old was she? She was
6 years old.
6 years old. You know what I mean? So, you never know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what I say. If you know something, you got to say something, That's
I like
my
it.
feelings towards it.
I like it, man.
Because stay quiet. So
I might start using that, Swampdogg, actually. If you know something, say something. That's pretty solid, man. I love it.
Yeah. And they also use, when they were looking for this little girl, they also use the cadaver dogs.
Yeah.
And they never got a scent. So, like, bringing in the dogs were useless, by what my wife said, because the dogs never got a scent.
Helping searching.
It was my mom and my wife and my father, he was alive at the time. They were part of the citizens that were helping searching for this little girl. And this girl, she
vanished.
I was like, she vanished. Because not even the dogs got a scent. So, you never know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that was Bigfoot, but then I'm also saying you never know. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And it's like, we're right here. We're parked in this park. My wife got her door open, and it's really dark back here.
Pitch black.
Yeah. There's only one light. One of them poles with the lights on it. There's only one of them over here. But all you hear is the crickets and stuff, and that's it. Yeah. But we're sitting here. I mean, I don't see what happens, but yeah, that was their encounter, and I was I was kind of happy they stopped. You know what I mean? But it was the way the guy said, "Are you the Swampdogg that was on the podcast?" Bigfoot. So I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, that was me." Why? She goes, "I want to talk to you." I'm like, "Okay."
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you reached out again, Swampdogg. This story is definitely not over. I have a feeling it's
No.
more is
No.
going to come out about South Jersey and Bigfoot, and we have no idea where this is going. So it's pretty
I told
wild.
my wife, as long as we're still living here in New Jersey, because remember I said I was moving to Eastern Tennessee.
Exactly.
But I don't know when, because my back issues. I don't know when they would do my surgery. So I don't know when I'm moving to Tennessee. But as long as I can, and my back allows me to, I'm gonna start, doing a little bit of research around here and stuff, and just to see what else I can find out,
Absolutely.
But,
you never know what you'll find once you start looking, man.
I don't know. I'm just, I'm hoping, but you know what? I mean, all this is a lot of woods back here. I mean, when my wife emails you the pictures of this park right here,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be like, this looks like Boggy Creek back here.
Oof.
Like, you're going to be like, man, this looks like Boggy Creek. You know what I mean? Wait till you see the picture, so, if you can text me your email so she can send it to you.
Absolutely.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Just BigfootSociety@gmail.com. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. When you see them pictures, you're going to be like, man, that does kind of look like a Boggy Creek area.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And it's like I said, all this area is all woods and farms. All woods and farms. I mean, they got homes on it, but it's all woods. I mean, if I wanted to get lost back here and if I wanted to disappear for a week, I could do it. You know what I mean? It's thick. You'll see when she sends you them pictures, because I was looking at the pictures, I said, Tammy, man, this looks like kind of something like Boggy Creek. She said, no, that's how I told you.
Absolutely. Well, Swampdogg, thank you so much for reaching out again. Please keep your ears and your eyes open. And should I call you Mrs. Swampdogg or?
Call me Tammy.
All right, Tammy. I respect that. All right. You guys have a great night, and keep me in the know about what's going on over there in South Jersey.
I will. I got my eyes and ears open.
All right.
So, and she's going to send you the pictures tonight.
I'll send them off to you tonight.
As soon as we get home, she'll send it off to you.
Fantastic.
So then you can see. All right.
Thank you, Swampdogg. Thank you, Tammy. Have a great night.
All right, take care.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Here at Bigfoot Society, our goal is to provide a platform for those that have encountered Bigfoot to share their encounter in a safe and respected environment. But we need to hear your story. If you've experienced something that you just can't explain, please send me an email at bigfootsociety@gmail.com. Then we can start the conversation. I know a lot of you have not shared your encounter at all. It's been 20 years, and it's time that you get this off your chest, and then you can get some well-deserved rest, because I know you haven't been sleeping. I understand what you're going through, and I appreciate every one of you listening.